How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about AMC. We see we had a big time pullback inside of the market. AMC was impacted by this, and now I know I'm getting those questions. Dre, where do you see this stock going? You guys know I'm going to give you a non-biased approach, so I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what the stock looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for AMC. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $18.84, being down 8.41%. On the low, it tested $17.80, and then on the high, testing $19.89. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 55.578 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 43.96 million shares. So what we could see, we did have above average volume on the day, but we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure, but we also have to take into consideration the market conditions. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 25.08. So it is deep in that oversold territory. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And like I said in my previous video, AMC is in a bear market. We ended up seeing a low of $17.80 on the day, and the last time we actually visited these levels was all the way back in May. So what you want to see is strength. Is it going to be able to actually hold up this area at $17.80? So going into tomorrow, since we did see a high of $19.89, most preferably you want to see AMC get back into the $20 range, $21 to be exact, and then seeing if it can gain some momentum before hitting a resistance level right here around $22.80. And if it's able to get past $22.80, then of course I want to see it actually be able to bounce above the 21-day EMA at $24.64. Again, there's a lot of catching up that AMC needs to do, but for the most part, by the way things are looking, it is on a downtrend. And as you can see, we do have a gap that needs to be filled down below here, right in that $16.70 range. So that is something you're going to want to keep an eye on, and there is a possibility it could visit these areas. So now let's look over the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for AMC. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 62.01%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 16.675 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 6.1 million, updated 20 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow free rate, it is at 0.57%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 13th, it was at 62.25, and then for the close for the 14th being at 62.01. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening, but one thing that is very clear, AMC continues to have short squeeze potential, and you could tell by being at just over 60%, that is very significant, and that's what contributes to its volatility, and you want to make sure you have a game plan before you get into this stock. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for AMC. So we can see here on the inflow it's at 167, and then on the outflow it's at 163. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, it was 0.84 on the large, 110 on the medium, 56.02 on the small. Keep in mind these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 107, and then on the small it was 55.94. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, January the 18th, it being that inflow of 841.95. We had an outflow the day before, and then we had an inflow on the 13th as well, which was at 1,836.71. And the 2 prior trading days, we had 0. So overall, for the past 5 trading days, inflows have been beating out outflows. So that is something that is good to see. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which potentially represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. It was 0.84 million versus 0 for the outflows. And then when we take a look now at the turnover ratio, it was at 10.83%. So this is up there, and this tells us, yes, there was a lot of selling that was happening inside this stock. But we also did see this clearly happening in the market. But there also is a lot of demand for AMC shares. We could see there was some purchasing on the institutional side, and we also see some purchasing on the retail side. So again, many people are out there just buying up the dip. So that's one thing that you want to be aware of, and it's part of the reasons why when it did hit its low of the day, it had a pretty strong comeback, I must say. So now let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for AMC, if this stock decides to pull back even further as this week progresses, I want you guys to look out for levels around $16.70 as well as $16.80. Again, this is on a pullback. And the reason why I'm saying this, the volatility can continue inside of the market, and we can't act like AMC is not going to be impacted by it. But one thing that is very clear, there's a lot of demand in the market for AMC shares. Many people are out there buying up the dip. We already know the movement behind this stock as well, and this is part of the reasons why when you do your homework and you do your due diligence, and before you push that buy button, I want to make sure you know what you're going to be putting yourself through, because again, the money that you're going to be putting into this play, you cannot be afraid to lose it. So don't be putting in your rent money, your bill money, or any type of money that you may need in the immediate future. All right, now when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential, with the short volume ratio being over 60%. Again, all it takes is more buying pressure coming into this stock. And this is why I say, if AMC can climb itself back above that $20 level, I can see more buyers stepping in. And if it gets to the 20 and it makes that move to 24, we'll have even more buyers stepping in. But also keep in mind, this is the kind of stock, all it takes is a catalyst, or again, just more momentum coming into the play, and we can see some strong moves to the upside. If you guys have been watching AMC long enough, you know this already. So this is why I'm saying you want to be able to have the ability to stomach the volatility that comes with this play and not be concerned or be worried when you're seeing pullbacks. If that's going to be the case, then you should stay away from this stock. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.